Thank you very much, Karen. Mark Williams wouldn't be too happy at the moment. The Magpies are dominating. They lead by 39 points. We had an enormous first quarter, which involved a fight. We'll be showing you highlights of that fight a little later on. David Mackay, shocked to see Port Adelaide in front by so much?
Well, I think it was. I actually picked Glenelg today. I thought their runners in the forward line would have given them much more drive than they have, but so far they've been very disappointing.
And Neville Roberts, what about in the first quarter, the fight?
Well, I think at that stage the odds or the percentages started to lie with Port Adelaide. They seemed to handle that, and players get a bit emotional. They handled that emotion a little bit better, and it really was, I think, the turning point. Port Adelaide have gone on from that, and the Tigers are still busy trying to fight their way back into the game. Collins concedes the ball back to Visca, and he's had a very busy day as well. He's good across half-back. He wants to switch it to Rattray, but it won't happen. Now, we should mention, David, that the switch of West was doing a good job at half-back, Rattray at half-forward, but West has gone to half-forward, kicked a couple of goals this quarter. Mantle's got a way to kick a couple, and that's really that's ignited the Tigers. And they've kicked about one goal only more this quarter, but I just feel they feel a bit more composed and looking a little bit better on it all as Flower pours in towards full forward. He's well off target, though, and out of bounds.
Yes, well, just in response to that, Neville, they opened with John Fidge at full forward. He didn't do much. In fact, he was pretty hungry early. I thought he had opportunities to give off the ball and didn't. They dropped Mark Russell from last week. He kicked 5 or 6 goals, 5 goals, 5 in fact, last week against West Adelaide. And I thought that Glenelg needed to go in with a two-pronged attack. They needed to kick goals to beat Port Adelaide. And instead, Port Adelaide have come in with Hodges at half-forward, who's dominated, and Tyler, who's done well at full forward. Hodges has kicked 4, and Tyler has kicked 3.
And, of course, David also, too, Fidge, of course, has been reported. We understand he's been reported as well.
He charged in late in the first quarter, jumped into a pack. I think it was Foster that he hit and got reported for a charging.
So a very physical opening to this game. It has settled down. The pace is still quite frenetic, not quite as frenetic as that first quarter. Speaking of pace, Bond's got the football on the far side of the ground, looking for someone at left half forward. Over there was Borlase. Good mark in the end, though, taken by Mark Visca. Changes direction, comes to Bailey, who's now on the field, came on in the third quarter. Now Whittlesey. Good kick up toward centre half forward, but to the mark taken there by Delaney. It was Clayton Lamb, of course, who put that one well and truly into the attacking zone, but a good mark over the top there by Delaney.
He's been terrific at fullback today, outpointed Fidge, and then has given them good rebound from fullback. He's been a terrific player.
So to Lyle, northeast, and company. It's been a good half-back line and full-back line as Williams works his way around half-forward, tried to chip it across to Rezonico. Well, they're in the open and they've lost the footy. Bailey tears away with it. He's got McGuinness into space. His kick, he wants West and he's found him. So West has really given him some options. He put that one down, but notwithstanding that, he really has given him something else to shoot at there. Ginnivan, just with sheer determination, steals the ball. And Hughes. Now, Danny Hughes with the footy there. He's been matched up with Darren Mansell today, and up until this quarter, he's had the better of Mansell, a mismatch in height, but it's only really gone against Glenelg once, and Mansell really got away with his pace this quarter, kicked a couple. Now McGuinness again, slips Smith, that's Rowan Smith, and puts it in high. They need a take. Campbell-Flower couldn't quite take it to ground. She wins the crummer, and the Magpies force it over the line.
Now, when you talk about Mansell and the mismatch between him and Danny Hughes, I just wonder whether in the fourth quarter with Danny Hughes running out of a bit of steam, Darren Mansell might not run amok. It could be a danger. I mean, Glenelg don't look like they're in touch at the moment. They're down by about 6 goals, 7 goals almost. And just wonder whether a final quarter burst mightn't get him back in the game.
Well, if Mansell does get on top, I'm sure Jack Carr will keep an eye on that one because it's so obvious. The ball's been put back in by Marshall. It sprays to the back of the pack. There's no one there except Northeast. And he was well and truly flying the flag when we had that little scuffle in the first quarter.
Here we are live and exclusively on the ABC right around the state. And we hope you're enjoying our coverage of Saturday football. I'm sure if you're a Port Adelaide fan, you'd be tickled pink so far. Williams, who's had a terrific game. His brother, Mark Williams, the coach of Glenelg, not so at this stage. We've got another quarter to play. It is three-quarter time here at the Bay Oval as the children stream onto the ground. The Magpies 17-12, 114. Glenelg at 10-15, 75. And the margin 39 points.
You must say that Glenelg did well to get back into that match. I thought they were gone for all money. They only trailed by a point at quarter time, but it was a massive second quarter by Port Adelaide that saw Glenelg trailing by 48 points at half-time, and at three-quarter time, Glenelg have been able to whittle that back to 39 points. Now, that gives them a chance, particularly with Jim West coming into the game at centre-half forward. Darren Mansell across half forward also getting into the game. And I noticed there on a couple of rare occasions, Phil McGuinness was able to get himself into the game. We haven't seen much of Campbell Flower either. So if Mark Williams can just rally the half-forward line of Glenelg, they can get back into this match.
So let's have a look at the quarter-by-quarters. Not too much in it at quarter time. It was 4-2 to 3-7. The Magpies led by 1 point. And then that massive second quarter, 11-11-77, the Magpies, 3-11-29 to Glenelg. And at three-quarter time, 17-12, 114 to 10 goals, 15-75. Are they still a chance, David?
Well, I think they are. You just look at Port Adelaide and you worry about whether they can keep up this level of intensity. Glenelg are just gearing up a little bit more, and I think their runners are a little bit better. And when you look around the ground, you just see a few players. Greg Phillips has gone off for Port Adelaide. He's having a rest. He had a nasty encounter in the first quarter with Rattray. Rattray's gone off. And blokes like McGuinness, Campbell, Flower, McRae, who have been unsighted, are now starting to run into this match.
North Adelaide and Central District is our highlights match from Football Park. We've got a progress score. If you're not interested in having a look at it, turn your face. So North Adelaide and Central District, that's
Bit of a
an important one for both of those sides because they've just struggled a bit so far this year, and that's set up to be a good last quarter.
Indeed it is, and there's only 3 games on Adelaide today. Of course, the final game being played on Monday. South Adelaide and Sturt, and South Adelaide clearly in front there.
That game down at the Bice Oval. Of course, they played there last year in Neville, yes. So good lead there. Eagles and Norwood on Adelaide Cup Day.
Well, I'll be working that day, Mark, and look forward to covering that. That should be a beauty. The Eagles in third spot, Norwood in third spot, and the Eagles really one of the form sides. I think one of the sides that might just take on Port Adelaide as we have a look at that premiership table. Zip 5, Port Adelaide, the Tigers in second spot, and with a better percentage, if you note, if they win today, of course, they probably take that top spot away. And Eagles and Norwood make up... with North make up the balance of the 5.
And if they lose today, Glenelg, they could drop to third, in fact.
Full match coverage for season 1993, including the Foundation Cup. For more information, 343-4601 during office hours. So they've got a lot of work to do, and I guess they'd be a bit frustrated, David, Glenelg, because they did a lot of good work in the latter stages of that third quarter.
Well, I think the effort that they gave in the first quarter, they were hammered by Port Adelaide in the first 15 minutes of this match. They really fought back in time on and got themselves back to a respectable 1 point down. And I think that took a lot out of them. There was a couple of fights that took the run out of them. They've really fought back in the third quarter. I just worry about whether they have got the strength of character yet to take on Port Adelaide.
And Mark Williams right amongst that Tiger nest. He's, as we said, he would feel the pressure personally today because he was bought by Glenelg Football Club really to buy some Port Adelaide intelligence and directly beat Port Adelaide in finals. And he'd find his first test today, his first litmus test today.
Well, the thing that he has done, Neville, is given Glenelg a lot more bite when it gets very physical.
Yes, no doubt about it, David. He's been involved himself in a lot of hard, tough physical clashes, and we saw one of those in the first quarter in this match. Have a look at this.
And it came in towards half forward it was, and that's where it really started. Rattray got up there, and but he had a bit of blood on his face, and actually...
Well, that's where the fuse was lit, Neville.
Yeah, well, then here it goes on.
Here's where it starts to explode.
Cop that. I thought I was at White City for a while, and it started, it went on.
Yeah.
You'll find that Northeast comes in, Fidge comes in late.
Fidge comes in late. Now, this is where we believe that he was reported. He actually got one player on the way through and then got Foster.
Well, he had to run to get there, so the goal umpire from where he left had an absolute lay-down misère view of him running in, and I'm sure that's what happened. But anyway, the tribunal will be very busy during the week, I think.
And look at the blood on Greg Phillips's face there. Now, it's very rare you ever see Greg Phillips coming off second best in any physical clash.
We saw him come back after quarter time with tape under his chin as well. So I think he had some multiple cuts.
Was it you who said they put the stapler to his chin?
No, that was you. And I said he looked like he'd been in a train accident. So pretty tough out there.
He probably won't be able to have a shave for a couple of weeks. So next time we see him, he'll probably have a
look like Simon Tregenza.
Yes, Michael Abbott, Richard Williams. We're back live here. They're the two umpires officiating. That is Richard Williams right there. So this deficit, what can Glenelg do? Can they get out of this?
Well, they'll need to get the opening 2 goals in this quarter. If they can get that, they can fight back. Just a little bit of adrenaline. The roar of the crowd will spur them on, but they need the first 2 goals.
So to take up the call in the last quarter, here's Neville Roberts.
So 1-1-4 Port Adelaide. Glenelg 75 points, 39 points separate them. It's round 7. Port Adelaide have lost none. And Glenelg have lost only the one that was to South. And beautiful conditions, glorious conditions. Breeze from right to left of screen. And that'll favour Port Adelaide this quarter. Umpires are Michael Abbott and Richard Williams. Here we go. Can the Maggies hold their lead? Can the Tigers get back? As Bailey sends the ball directly to Hill, and he has a kick backward of centre. He goes up towards the 50-metre line. Northeast has got the sit. West from behind. It's been a great move, that one. Now with the ball, Flower. He has 2 or 3 bounces. He'll kick from 45 metres. He pops it up. It's left of centre. They need Christie to take it. It's short and over the line. There's another point to the Tigers. So at least they get away with the first point. They go on to 76 points. Port Adelaide 1-1-4.
Now, Flower runs in another 10 yards there, Neville, and goals. The Port Adelaide crowd come alight and anything can happen.
So Delaney with a very good kick. He got about 50, 60 metres with that. Kretschmer runs onto the bouncing ball, and eventually Borlase taps it over the line, perhaps not intentionally. Out of bounds at left half forward for the Magpies. And Glenelg, well, they've been set a task here. Can they respond? Not too much in it at quarter time, but that big second term by the Magpies really set this up.
And a feature of today's game, I think we may have already mentioned it, Hodges and Tyler in the same side together. They've kicked 7 out of 17. The last time they combined was against North Adelaide at Prospect when Port miraculously came back. Kicked 13-2 in the last quarter to win by 40 points.
Bailey scrambled a kick forward. Marshall now Chigwidden. Long one looking for Rattray. Oh, West almost took a spectacular grab. Lamb runs onto the bouncing ball. West, chance to kick off the ground. He missed it completely. Interesting. Not so for Glenelg, though. Now a chance for McGuinness. Quick snap. Is it a mark? No, not quite. Big chance for them still. It's in their attacking zone. The umpire's pulled out a free kick. Port Adelaide's way.
It was against Mansell, Mark. The umpire indicated he threw it away.
Well, he attempted the mark, and in the end, he erred.
So Borlase into some space. He's found that hard today. He had a tagger early. That was Clayton Lamb. That's been dropped off now to get some run out of Lamb, I think, or some goals at least. And he's come back into the game. Foster pops it up high, but he was under pressure. They're at 50 metres. Spill, Hill, Chigwidden, caught, loses it. They run it out. That looked like Bailey, Marshall underneath it. Now Borlase again, getting touches wide to Hughes. Still going to kick it long, he says. Does he ever? Spiral punt, 70 metres or thereabouts. Darren Smith tickles it into space. Nearly got clear, not quite. Rattray now playing at half back. Bailey again. Brown right behind him. Rowan Smith nearly stole it. Support the Tigers. They need the numbers. They learned that in the first quarter against Port. Marshall takes Rowan Smith to ground. Oh, the Spillers with Chalmers. Great smother, Rattray. It's pretty tough out there. Cockatoo, or Bond was in court. Rosonico catches Whittlesey. It's so quick out there. So I need some help here to keep up with the players. Mansell now. Opportunity. Foster. West. So they've really turned up the pace, Mark.
So we're getting some AFL scores through very shortly. Now a chance for Rowan Smith. Kicks up to the pocket and Smith. It's Rowan Smith to Darren Smith, and they will make something of this, you would think.
Now that illustrates what we've spoken about earlier in the match. Glenelg had 4 or 5 opportunities with 4 or 5 players running forward, handballing off to each other just to get clear. They really just didn't do enough with the ball. The turnover comes out to Rowan Smith, and Rowan Smith picks out Darren Smith, who's had a very quiet day.
35 metres out, 45-degree angle. Darren Smith concentrating straight through the middle. So his first goal for the match, and a steadier there for the Magpies in the early stages of this last quarter. 18-12 to 10 goals, 16. AFL scores coming up now. Essendon defeated St Kilda by 58 points. Not sure whether Nicky Winmar played today, but I know he's caused some turmoil there. Footscray defeated Carlton by 28 points. I'm out of the tipping competition in 2 goes. Some more coming up.
Collingwood got on top of Hawthorn by 18 points. A disappointing one for Hawthorn, but Collingwood, the form side. What a magnificent season they're having. And, of course, tomorrow at Football Park, the Crows take on North Melbourne. It's absolutely crucial.
Back in the centre here at the Bay Oval. So, as I said, a steadier there for the Magpies. Kretschmer, although that might have been Bailey. Yes, it was Kretschmer. Now a chance for McGuinness. Trying to squeeze through a gap there and does so quite nicely. Kicks toward right half forward. Up they go. No mark taken down there by Christie. Chance now for Flower. Running into the pocket. Tries to square the football. Looking for someone right in front of the goal. Christie's there. Can't control it. Got a hand to it. Out of bounds. Right forward pocket. No, it is a free kick, is it? Yes, it's going Port Adelaide's way.
OK, that's McKay. He gets it to Lyle. He's been good today, Lyle. He's had McRae to look after. He's kept him to a couple. Oh, the big catch. Plays tall, Visca. Off he goes. Rough and tough. He can mix it if he has to. Flies the flag at times. Whittlesee's kick towards half forward. Ball to ground. Hughes was the player that did that good body work on Kretschmer. Loose ball now. Mansell. Northeast. Hughes. West did well to spill it. Oh, Chick Whitten did a great job to get it out to Marshall. They need this one. And I think Wingman has kept up his end. Great work, he's second. The Tigers 11, 16, 82. Port Adelaide 18, 12, 120.
Well, I was already Neville to give Darren Mansell a bake for his commitment there. He had 2 or 3 opportunities at the ball. Finally, Nick Chidwin just seized the initiative, grabbed the ball, found Marshall forward of the play. Marshall rarely, if ever, misses from 20 metres out. And the Glenelg side just need 2 or 3 more like that to crawl back into this game.
18-12, 120. Glenelg 11-16, 82. And the margin 38 points. Not impossible, not easy though. Brown in there. Marshall again. Over the top of him was Chalmers, and Marshall will get the free kick from the defensive side of centre. So South Adelaide leads Sturt by 37 points. Just starting the last quarter there, so Sturt in all sorts of trouble again. Good mark, Mansell. No, it's West. So that move, David Mackay, has been one of the best that Mark has made all day.
Well, we mentioned just before half-time they were falling down across half-forward. Rattray was clearly beaten by Greg Phillips. They needed to kick a winning score to get on top of Port Adelaide, and the move to West at centre-half-forward has been a very good one. Rattray to centre-half-forward really hasn't hurt them. 2 goals in the 3rd quarter to West. Stabs at it, and he's put it through. So 3 goals to Jimmy West. He's certainly doing his job. 18-12, 120 the Magpies. Glenelg crawl closer. 12 goals, 16. Look at Marshall, the way he just pushes off that ball. Now, McGuinness was one of those players that we had mentioned had been quiet, but he's really come into the game, and he kicks a long ball and allowed West. Look at the good shepherd by Christie. Kept Delaney out of the contest and allowed West to take the easy mark.
So, Port Adelaide, 120 points. Glenelg, 88. So, West at centre-half forward, as David said, working for the Tigers. The Magpies forward now. They need that back line to stand up. They can't concede more than maybe another goal to Glenelg for the rest of this quarter, and they've just got to peg them back. Thompson, they're going into the breeze too, remember that. McCulley, so it's they've got to run it up. This is the way to do it. McGuinness now, he needs somebody ahead of him. Out they come. Oh, beautifully done, Delaney. Just stole it from Christie. Easy as you like. He pops it back. Darren Smith behind. Rattray in front. They control the ball. They need the numbers at the spill, Glenelg, if they're going to get back in this game. It's hard work and a commitment to provide the volume around the ball is the only way they can get back into this game.
Michael Abbott and Richard Williams officiating. That's Richard there. 8 minutes, last quarter, right half forward for the Magpies. And Glenelg just starting to lift a shade. Heel to McGuinness. Now Mansell, about 70 metres out. High kick, awkward one. Good mark, Chalmers, so they wasted that.
He's underdone Mansell, Neville, isn't he?
Yes, I think he is a little bit. I think it's not a bad time to think about getting McRae back on the ground too. You know, having a big man up there is good, but he is a goal scorer. He's been their most powerful striker yet, and I'd like to see him back on the ground. I know he's had a bad day, but it'd be a real test for him to see if he can get back into it. Fisker on the ground, have a look at him.
17 goals for the season, McRae.
Yes, and
excuse me, Rocky. The coach has obviously got us tuned into his box. McRae warming up on the boundary line. Simon Hill coming off.
Well, that's a good sign. That's a good sign. Good to see, and I think it might make a difference.
Kretschmer's coming off correction.
So it'll be interesting to see where he goes. I'd hope to see him at half forward. Anyway, Tigers have got the ball, and it's at half forward. West again. They're outnumbered, though, and that's what I mean about getting the volume around the ball. Chalmers, he does it so often, back in defence and relieving the tension. Well done, Whittlesey. To ground. Fisker. Brown. He's caught. But he manages to get it away to ball A's. Good work, Port Adelaide. Into space, Rosonico, but it'll beat the ball, at least will beat them to the boundary line.
And a special welcome to all of our viewers in the Northern Territory. We're live and exclusive on ABC Sport. We're coming to you from the Glenelg Oval. You're watching Saturday Football with David Mackay and Neville Robertson, yours truly. And
at half-time, David, it would have been a pretty rowdy change room for the Tigers, I would think, with Mark Williams making all sorts of suggestions.
And Mark Williams, the Glenelg coach, would have been mortified with what happened to his side in this quarter. They went from 1 point down at quarter time to 48 points down at half-time, and this is Rattray.
He's done okay, hasn't he? I mean, the switch has worked.
Since he's gone to centre-half back, he was out of sorts at centre-half forward, and that typifies the Glenelg day.
Yeah, that's lazy. That's just plain lazy, and you know, you just need more concentration. They can't afford those sorts of turnovers and mistakes. The game, they've got a time race now. We're, what, 10 minutes in, and they must make every post a winner. So those sorts of mistakes will hurt them. As I said earlier, I don't think they can concede more than maybe another goal, and they just have to score themselves. Well,
he was hardly under duress, just running out of defence quite nonchalantly. There's a good mark that had to be taken.
He hasn't done enough today, this big man.
McCulley from the back pocket, looking for West, who's come a long, long way down, but instead it goes directly to Chalmers, who's probably not within kicking distance, maybe just a shade out, but he's got a breeze there.
And both the big ruckmen doing their job. Chalmers a kick behind, takes the mark, and McCulley's the player that kicked it to him.
Only 4 players to the right of screen, up at centre half forward and full forward for Glenelg. There's Chalmers' kick drifting around to the left-hand side, and it's out of bounds on the full. That breeze really coming across the ground, or perhaps just into that left forward pocket.
He still kicked that ball about 65, 70 metres. Fair old boot.
Yeah, it's a good leg by Chalmers, and he's a talent. He's only 20 years of age. He's got a real future. Marshall over the top of the pack, trying to make something happen, and there he is, member of the States team to play playing Western Australia in a couple of weeks. A veteran, but still plenty of talent left in those legs, plenty of skills, and he always finds a jumper when he's got the ball. McCulley gets the knock on that occasion. Chigwidden runs into a nest of magpies. North Eastern company see him to ground.
Actually, Neville, it's a good opportunity for you to have a good look at some of these players in this sort of intensity, as a state game would be. How do you rate the players that are in your state squad?
Well, I think most of them have performed pretty well. I think for young McRae, I've been watching him pretty closely because I'm a bit of a fan of his, but I think it's a bit of a shock for him to see the pace lift so much just on one day, and but still he's done okay, and he stood up pretty well. He's only a light player, and it's been a pretty buffeting day, but most of the other players have performed well under pressure. And they're obviously very much aware of that too, Neville, so they make a special concession for him. Yeah, of course they would. Yeah, just go through, my son. Here he is, of course. Look at him. He's as skinny as a rabbit. He'd only be about 8.5 or 9 stone. As Darren Smith in screen is in a bit of trouble, talking about state squad members. Hope he's okay. Big jump. Chalmers, a great take. And that's the value of the fellow. He's great utility and athlete. Just a beautiful mark. One hand he stuck up there, David, and grabbed it.
He did. Now, Darren Smith is down. Now, they've got Darren Mead on the interchange bench. I wonder whether they shouldn't just take Smith off and bring Mead on.
Well done, David. They're taking your advice. Off he comes.
Yeah, we've got to stop being piped into the coach's box. We'll see.
And Mead comes on, would you believe?
Well, it was an obvious move, in fairness. I mean, this late stage, you don't want to be risking him. Rest them up for next week. Port Adelaide take on the Eagles next week, and that's another big match of the week.
Too right it is. And Tyler out on a lead. took it very cleanly in his hands. Have a look at this. Had to stretch for it and whack to where he goes. He's close to the boundary line. He has 3, and he and Hodges between them have worked the duet in the forward line brilliantly. Oh, what a magnificent goal. And that's been Port Adelaide's day. His 4th, and Port Adelaide 19-12, 126. The Tigers 12-16, 88.
Well, a lot of people wonder why Scott Hodges can't play with Tony Modra in the Crows, and when you see Mark Tyler kicking 4 goals and Scott Hodges playing off a half-forward flank kicking 4 goals, you've probably got to ask the same question. But other than Daryl Borlase, who's kicked 3, they really haven't had much else other than Jennifer, their small men, and Williams, who chip in every now and again. But it's clearly been Tyler and Hodges up forward.
Yeah, different comp though, David, isn't it? I mean, I think it's a hard one to talk about really honestly, isn't it? I mean, I just get the feeling that maybe his Chalmers anyway about 35-40 metres out, and he's missed to the left-hand side. I just get the feeling that Scotty, he just feels under a lot more pressure when he plays for the Crows, and I think that really does work against him.
We mentioned in the first quarter he looks a different player in a Port Adelaide jumper. He was attacking the ball, he was launching himself into it. He looked a completely different player.
Yeah, oh sure, there's no doubt about that. Right over the top is Flower, couldn't quite control that one. Quick hands by Chigwitten was good. West, long way down, kicks up to right half forward. Clayton Lamb, who kicked 4 goals in a short space of time last week against West Adelaide. That was a clever hand pass. And here goes McRae. Look at the pace of this young man. This is what Neville was talking about. And 3 goals to McRae. That's the first time we've really seen him do that.
Well, he kicked 5 goals last week against West Adelaide. Blinding pace from half forward. He just eclipsed all opposition. This is one of the rare occasions where somebody has pushed the ball wide and let him run into the space. And watch him go. He was a metre behind Foster, and he finishes up 3 metres clear. That's his pace, and that's clearly his value. They just haven't been able to use him much today.
And Mansell can take a portion of that because of the quick hands, that quick hand pass. 19-13 to 13-6, 127 to 94.
33-point margin. McCulley's got the knock. Bond close to the ground. He's a dangerous player with the ball. Goes over the 50-metre line. Borlase going backwards. Tyler called him into the play. Borlase jumps over it. Tyler again back to Borlase. It's good teamwork. He'll try a reverse punt. How good is he? Whoa! He is very good indeed. That's his 4th goal. And Borlase loves that. He had the tag early in the game, but he's found some space now. Port Adelaide 133, the Tigers 94.
Now, a lot of people would be surprised to know that Daisy Borlase led the club, the Port Adelaide club, in goal kicking in 1991, and he only kicked 25 goals. That was the year they finished in 5th position, and they really struggled. But last year it was Hodges with 97 who led the club. But he knows where the goals are. He's a cheeky player. He won their most dedicated award last year, and you can see why.
But it'll be fun corner down at Port Adelaide tonight, won't it? On top of the ladder, undefeated. The only loss this year, well, they lost to Essendon, of course.
If,
but
if they keep this up, it'll be another margin of more than 40, as Rowan Smith will see to that with this left foot kick. Early hits the post, but they've won 5-zip, probably 6 today if we're going to be a bit premature, but all by reasonably big margins.
Well, I've got him here, Neville. First game, 34 points against West Adelaide. 42 points against North. Now, remember, they bolted home with 13 goals in the last quarter. They won that one by 42. Then it was South by 28 points, Sturt by 78 points, and Norwood by 43 points just before the bye.
All off the cuff. That is brilliant memory.
How you do it, David?
That's incredible.
What a machine, the Magpie machine, and they've given notice to all their SANFL sides right now this early in the season. They'll be hard to beat as Marshall takes it. Goes on quickly. McRae, we talk about him a lot. We'll watch him get around Lyle on that occasion, although Lyle, I thought, had the better of him most of the day. He's gone off and come back on and scored a goal. So the Tigers have marked at half-forward again through James West.
South Adelaide lead Sturt by 51 points. So Sturt will no doubt lose another one. And South Adelaide, well, they've been around about the mark, haven't they, this year? But their form in terms of win-loss has been terrible. But Johnny Reid will be happy with that. 10 minutes into the final quarter.
10 minutes in, so good work. South Adelaide as West goes towards goal. And his aim is astray to the left, but he shouldn't be disappointed with his form today. I think he was a reasonable player at half-forward and a better player at half-back, a better player at half-forward.
We talked about the Glenelg forward line. They had Fidge at full forward. They dropped Mark Russell, who kicked 8 goals in the reserves today, by the way, and he's kicked 12 goals. Look at that torpedo to the centre of the ground. I don't know that I've seen a longer kick here at Glenelg Oval. Neville, have you?
Oh, it's a magnificent.
It's 85 metres.
Yes, he's done it all day, though. Chigwitten now sends them back into attack.
Yes, good kick too towards centre half forward. Up they go. Delaney almost plucked it out of the air. Good hand pass in the end there to Flower. Got it from from Christie, and Lamb has missed. No, it wasn't Lamb. Who was it? Yes, it was. And generally he gets those from about 60 metres. He was 20 in front.
Oh, that's an absolute snack for Peyton Lamb. And you wouldn't see that very often, David.
Well, he kicked 4 goals straight last week in the third quarter against West Adelaide when Glenelg needed him. But today he started in the centre, and I think it got him out of sorts.
And coming up, highlights of the North Adelaide Central District game, that match at Football Park. Looking forward to that immediately following this game, and an interview and a few other details as well. Delaney's got it at halfback.
He's been a tidy player today. He had the better of Fidge early, and of course Fidge now not on the ground. Christie up forward as the ball's relayed back towards halfback, and Visca comes out to meet it. Did it well. Gives it off to McRae, and he in turn goes into, that was McGuinness, back to McRae. Leg speed on Mead. He'll see you later there. No disrespect to Mead, but he's a very quick player, the young fella. Oh, back of the pack. Mansell couldn't control it. And Mead's not a slow player either. So the Tigers, they move along to 97 points. But 134 at Port Adelaide, just a little too much.
So the Eagles, any chance next week, David?
Well, on this performance by Port Adelaide, you'd say no chance, but the Eagles have beaten Port Adelaide in the Foundation Cup Grand Final, so they've got the personnel and the confidence to perhaps take them on, but Port Adelaide today have been awesome. Smith
to McKay. McKay's kick to Williams. The umpire has given a free kick. It's gone to Whittlesey. Awkward one by Whittlesey. Oh, that was an awkward attempt at a mark too by Ginnivan. Rowan Smith. Now Bond. Short pass. Good kick. Good lead and a good mark.
Well, it was better than a good lead. As soon as Bond got the ball, Tyler was calling for it. Look how far he had. He led out 30 metres, and the kick was a terrific one, but Tyler just demanded the ball. That's the sign of a good full forward.
Yes, they know the setup up forward, don't they?
Midfield Bailey just having a wild swing with his legs. I'd rather see him try and put his hands on it. They lost possession, and Tyler's having a shot for goal. Not good.
24. Number 24 is Tyler. He's already got 4. I think he's missed this to the left, or has he? Yes, he has. So what's he got, David? 4 goals.
4 goals, 4.
4. 8 shots at goal.
Point a goal, a point a goal, a goal a point, a goal a point. So inconsistent.
So 3 main scorers there: Hodges, Borlays, and Tyler. Between them, they've cut the Tigers up from the kick out. A chance, McRae, but in front. Tyler again. Well, he can redeem himself if he likes from here. He's only about 45 metres out. He's got the breeze at his back, David.
Statistically, he's going to kick a goal, Neville.
Well, on the alternate goal point ratio you've just described to us, very deliberately, I would suggest...
That's a football formula I've worked on.
Well, I suggest it has absolutely nothing to do with it. But anyway, here we go. Tyler from 45. He looks deliberate. He wants this one. In he comes. Breeze at his back. The clapping and the jeering goes up. So your formula must be working, David. Port Adelaide 21-15, 141. The Tigers 13-19, 97.
I might just say there, David keeps a very comprehensive report here. He goes, a goal is 1, a point is a dot. And what about if he hit the post?
Hit the post, it's a dot with a circle around it, a bit like a no ball in cricket.
And what about if they hit the post? Have you got variations for halfway up or halfway down?
I put a little note at the top of it, and if they kick out of bounds on the full, it's just simply a slice against their name.
Terrific.
A bit like a golf shot.
21-15 to 13-19. Neville?
Thanks for that, gents, and we're back in the centre with the contest between Chalmers and McCulley. McCulley this time. Brown misses, Chigwidden through, but it's Jennifer who's closest to ground. He does the work brilliantly and has been all day to Borlays. He kicked a goal, Borlays, did it well. He got the ball, believe it or not, from Delaney. They were both up forward. That's the way it's been as Cockatoo Collins lets one go. They're having a long kicking contest, Port Adelaide players.
Well, it's a sign of confidence, Neville, isn't it? You're on the 50-metre line. You've got your 2 best forwards leading at you, demanding the ball, Tyler and Hodges. You ignore them. You're a rookie in the side, and you go for a long torpedo punch shot for goal.
Yes, and I'd suggest that they should have a bit of a chat to him, because they don't want players with that sort of discipline.
Amy Stewart gets on with it. McCulley from the side. Oh, gee, Chalmers went up a week too early there. And a free kick has been sorted out. It's going Glenelg's way. That's Campbell Flower. Kicks up towards centre half forward. Oh, Delaney almost. Has he been paid? He has. Gee, that was a good mark, wasn't it?
I thought he was lucky to be paid it, but nonetheless, a good juggling mark, and he did it well.
Yes, he made a good effort at it. Perhaps didn't hold it quite so long, or as long as the umpire, or as long as Neville thought that he should have, but nonetheless, the Magpies have once again turned it around. It's up at half forward. The free kick is going Glenelg's way, though. This was a little bit rough. Have a look at this.
Yeah, in front.
Not intentional, though.
No, not intentional, and that's the value of being in front. Loose ball, Flower feeds it up to McGuinness, and around the corner, Chigwedden uses his body well, the little fella. Lyle on him, and he did play that well. He goes on to Flower, now to Marshall. Even David Marshall will be tested from there. He does the intelligent thing and centres the ball. Good work on that occasion by West, and again, he's won the battle. And he has been a thorn in what would have otherwise been an absolute steamroll second half for Port Adelaide. Let's watch it. Whack. Danny Hughes having a shot at the ball, to be fair. Missed and hit Jim West in the head. Jim West from 20 metres. In he goes. I won't be too hard on you, Danny. A good goal to Jim West, and as I said, he's done a great job since going to half forward. And that's his 4th goal, so he can't do much better than that in a half. And again, we'll see how it built up. Marshall was the player that did all the work, intelligently centred it. So Danny Hughes out of position. Here he goes. I'll have a shot at that ball, and it's just a little off straight, Danny.
The unfortunate thing was the head of Jim West was between the ball and Danny Hughes.
But they're both well. 141 Port Adelaide, Glenelg 103. So no chance of a change in the result. And Port Adelaide again, as I said, maintaining big margins as their winning scores. Out of the centre, Glenelg, they haven't given away at all. Northeast keeps it in front of Rowan Smith. He's been a dangerous player today too for Port Adelaide. His kick around the corner, Visca, the only player to read it properly, juggles it, but stays inside the line, deliberately through the centre. It's misput though, and Darren Mead read it well. He's going to give Chalmers a bit of a break on all the hard work across half-back. His kick in, Chalmers at half-forward now. He put that down, a very simple mark. They work it out though. Chalmers has got it back. In comes Mead to give him a bit of a hand with the Shepherd. That's well done. Tyler late on the scene. The crumb. Stewart, or Hamish Stewart, I should say. Visca. Now Williams. Cut loose in the second quarter. Booted 2 valuable goals and really put a big margin between the two sides. Intelligent use of the ball again. Not unlike what Marshall did at the other end of the ground, but a very clean kick to find Mark Tyler. 5 goals. So he has 5. Borlase has 4, and Hodges has 4. So 13 goals. That's only 1 less than the whole Glenelg side have scored. In he comes. David Mackay's theory is right. He's kicked another point. Not that I subscribe to it at all, Mark.
I think he's selling it, actually. Selling it as a package.
I don't think Mark Williams is going to buy anything today.
21-16 to 14-19.
Except a lot of drinks after the game.
Yeah. Yes, he'd be disappointed, wouldn't he? That second quarter really did make or break, and it really broke the Glenelg back. I just wonder what the situation is with the Fitch as well.
Yeah, what hurts a lot more, I think, is that they're at home, and Glenelg Oval was a hard oval to come to and play well at. Port Adelaide have done that brilliantly today, and as I said, they've come very prepared. They knew that Mark Williams would be making a physical game of it, and physical in the sense of keeping their body over the ball, flying the flag when it had to be if it got rough, and also just working hard, pressure on yourself.
I think to the credit, here's David Brown from 45, perhaps a shade further than that. He's done very well. Straight through the middle. What a wonderful goal by David Brown. Second goal for the match, 22-16 to 14-19. People, spectators are leaving now, but to their credit, they have stayed around. I'm talking about the Glenelg spectators.
Yes, indeed, and there's been plenty of them here today. We're between 8,000 and 10,000 people at Glenelg Oval, and there's a goal to Brown, his second, as Mark called it, and Port Adelaide really doing it pretty well now. They're not going to stop. They want to hone the message home. There it is. Port Adelaide 22-16, 148. Glenelg 14-19, 103. 45 points the margin. I make that, and it's been a terrific day out at the office for the Magpies. So they'll go into round 8 with the 7 wins, 1 loss against Essendon, and of course that loss against the Eagles in the night competition, the Foundation Cup. So they're well on track to winning yet another premiership. Early days, that's for sure. We've got a progress score. South Adelaide leads Sturt by 53 points, Neville, so they go further in front. I believe that's 23 minutes in. Indeed, and Hayden Button not enjoying his brief stay to date in South Australia. Not that I suggest it's going to come to an early halt, but he's got his work cut out for him at Unley. I'm sure he was aware of that before he came. We're at centre wing. Watch Jim West. Oh, well, I called it badly. Watch Darren Mead, I should have said. They both had the same run at the ball, and the way Jim's been going, I thought he'd have it. Here they come. Oh, eyes for the ball only. Brilliant take, Mead. And he has been a good player coming off the bench for Port all year. And again, half-forward Chalmers. So Mead's given Chalmers a bit of a break in the ruck work across half-back, and yet at half-forward or across that area, he's still doing plenty of work. Yet to kick a goal. But you'd have to say it'd be a big chance from here. Now, a lot of players have been missing on the left. The breeze is blowing from his right to left. Let's see whether he's judged it well or not. He sits it out to the right. That is a brilliant kick. He's obviously been watching the forwards, and he has judged it brilliantly. His first goal, and Port Adelaide's 23rd. They go along to 154 points, and the Tigers are 103.
So Brett Chalmers drafted to Collingwood. Will he stay here next year? Some suggesting he will go for sure. Good kick, as Neville said. He really had been concentrating on his teammates and their kick to goal, and he swung it out from the right to the left, and through it went. First goal of the match, probably the only one, I think, because we're 29.5 minutes into the last quarter.
In ruck, Mead, McCulley. It's McCulley again. He's done well this quarter in the ruck as Jigwitten takes the ball out of the centre. A deliberate kick to West. The ball to ground. Hughes did well to spoil it. Beautiful crumb flower. He's in a tight pocket. Chips it up, but it's all Port Adelaide. There is nobody in the square. No one within 30 metres as Christie comes in late. Over the top, Delaney. He goes to Hughes. He's got plenty of time. Bad kick, though. Not that he would be disappointed to see it out of bounds. And Port Adelaide, they've got a 51-point lead.
Don't forget the replay or our highlights match coming up very shortly, immediately following this game, plus an interview. North Adelaide and Central District, that match at Football Park. An important one for both of those sides, both out of the 3 and battling to stay in the 5.
Indeed, and I'll complete, or at least the round will be completed at Footy Park on Monday. The Eagles and Nord. I'll be at that game with Stephen Trigg, so we'll complete the round there. Adelaide Cup Day in Adelaide. Beautiful conditions here today, round 7, the Maggies and the Tigers.
Bounce on the eastern side of the ground. Yes, the conditions have been magnificent, and I'm sure the club would have been thrilled, or would be thrilled at least in terms of the crowd. 7, 8, 9, perhaps 10,000 here today, and we don't see that often enough here in local football. We did see something like 10,000 at the centenary game at Prospect earlier on in the season. Here's Bailey.
And just looking around the ground, Mark, I see Scott Salisbury and John Seabohm, Chris McDermott and Tony McGuinness here, Graham Corn. So the old Tigers back here, not a good day for them either.
And Darren Cale also having a look. He's still injured, I believe, the son of John Cale, the marvellous tennis player when he's at his best. So yes, a lot of personalities here. Good crowd, and as I said, we don't see enough of it. Kick to Marshall at right half forward. He's a real personality, this fella. He's been a wonderful player. Good goal by Marshall. Wonderful player for Glenelg. That's his 3rd. It's all over here at the Bay Oval. The Magpies have run out winners. They've won the match by 57 points. 23-16, 154. Glenelg 15-19, 109. Tyler did very well. Scott Hodges did well up forward. And to tell you all about the game and the way he saw it, here's Neville Roberts.
Well, thanks.
Premier home builder for over 27 years with 11 display centres.
As I said, a tough day for Glenelg at their home ground. Port Adelaide have done it well, and someone to tell us all about it is David Mackay on the boundary with Port Adelaide skipper Greg Phillips.
Greg, bloodied face. It must have been a tough match early.
Oh, the first half was tough, and Glenelg Port, that's what it's all about, and she was fierce and tough, and just what I think the crowd expected, actually.
I thought that was the most fierce first quarter of football I've seen in the last 3 or 4 years. Is that what it was like out there?
Oh, I'm telling you, it was really hard. The ball was the object, and the players were going 100% at the ball, and that's what John Carl wanted us to do, and that was Port players' ambition. There's a few rewards at the end of it, but the 2 points is the main part. And the $15,000 by Fairmont Homes, which was donated. So, but the Port Adelaide players just had the attitude today with it, hard-hitting tactics, and that's what we've done the first half.
A couple of trainers told us they'd put a couple of staples in your chin and sent you back out to play. Is that true?
There's a couple of a few stitches. So I think Darren Smith's got a couple. So, but that's football, you've got to take and get in there and have a little bit of blood comes with us, bad luck.
They said they didn't have any needle and thread, so they just got a carpenter's gun and just shot it back up.
Yeah, that's about right, mate. I just wanted to get back on there, but I ended up bruising my hip just before the half-time break, and but we had Darren Mead on the bench, so it was good to see him come back, and he played so well. It was just a great team effort today by the Port Adelaide. I thought our defence was absolutely brilliant. Roger Delaney and just back there. And
let me touch on that. A lot of people thought that the fast-moving players of Glenelg might have had the slow-moving Port Adelaide defence in trouble, but it never happened.
No, it didn't. You know, like the Port Adelaide backline's been playing quite well all year, and Roger Delaney's having a perfect year, you know, absolutely brilliant. And the whole backline's got Danny Hughes is playing well, Braden Lyle, Richard Foster, and you know, it just goes on and on. And you know, today we had Brownie and Scotty up there and forward, and you know, Timmy Ginniver in the centre, and Brett Chalmers. You know, just went on and on. And you know, the real hard games like the grand final last year. You know, when the effort's asked from Port Adelaide boys, boy, they give it, and it's you know, I'm just proud to be part of them.
We've got another big one coming up next week, the Eagles at Alberton.
Yes, well, sure, that's going to be a good one. You know, there's no real bruising. You know, I'll be right, and you know, we just got to prepare ourselves this week. I should imagine we'll have training probably 3 times this week, and yeah, you know, we're 6 out of 6 so far. We will make a 7 out of 7.
We'll be there next week watching the clash. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks, fellas. Thanks, Dave.
Good idea. Cheers. Thanks for the interview. Good one.
So Greg Phillips here speaking with David Mackay, and Greg Phillips would be a very happy captain of the Port Adelaide Football Club. Let's have a look at the quarter by quarters. 3-7 to 4-2, 26 to 25 at quarter time. At half-time, the Magpies dominated 11-11 to 3 goals 11, 17-12 to 10-15, and at full-time, it was 23-16, 154 to 15-19, 109. Neville Roberts, the domination there.
Yeah, it's an absolute walloping, and let's just have a quick look at the goals. West kicked 4, McRae kicked 3, Mansell, Marshall and Rattray, they shared 5 between them. Tyler kicked 5, Hodges, Bourlays 4, Brown and Ginniver 2 each.